This journey starts off with a trip from Dulles International Airport and ends with me landing in Leesburg, Virginia. Started off the trip in a Boeing 767-400. What a beautiful beast. After a quick stop in Houston Bush International Airport, we would start our quick flight, hour-and-a-half flight out to El Paso. On the way in, I got a good look at the Sacramento Mountains, which I was going to have to fly over the next morning in order to get out of the Alamogordo Regional Airport. It was an hour-and-a-half Uber ride from El Paso up to the Alamogordo Airport, where I get my first look at the velocity. I got a good look at the Sacramento Mountains, which I was paying close attention to because I knew I'd have to fly over those mountains in order to get out of Alamogordo and get on my way out to my first stop. This is a 1991 Velocity Standard RG with an IO360 Lycoming engine, a 3-blade MT constant speed prop, retractable landing gear, and most importantly, that short and fast wing. I bet you can't figure out why I decided to book this Hampton Inn. Yeah, I bet you still don't know. It was an early morning getting out of Alamogordo with a little bit of low clouds, but just above the tops of the mountains. So I knew I shouldn't have any issue getting above the mountains and getting on my way out to my first stop. Here we're climbing over the Sacramento Mountains, which we could see coming into El Paso yesterday. It's a little bit gloomy. Clouds were just at about 11,000 feet, so maintaining 10,000 feet got me over the clouds with plenty of cloud clearance and ground clearance as well. In the first part of the flight, I was just getting cozy. I realized there was a lot more air leakage than I probably expected. I knew it was going to be cold. However, I'm glad I brought a travel blanket and a couple extra jackets and gloves, and I just cozied up and did my best to enjoy the ride as much as possible. I got the aircraft up to 11,500 feet, and I was pretty happy with where it was. I dropped down about 100 feet to gain a little bit of airspeed just to give the plane help on the last couple knots of true airspeed. Now my atmospherics were indicating minus 2 degrees Celsius, 33 inches, 11,300 feet indicating 140 knots on the airspeed indicator. That calculation comes out to give me about 170 knots of true airspeed, which is just under 200 miles per hour at 7.8 gallons per hour. Now, just to show you that I wasn't burning the engine up trying to get these numbers, my CHT is only 302 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if you look at the top right, you'll see that there's 3 numbers on the very far right side. 150 is the indicating Celsius temperature of the cylinders. So the math converts to 302 degrees Fahrenheit. EGT was 702 Celsius, which converts to 1,295 degrees Fahrenheit. The oil temperature is 194 degrees since it was so cold outside. That ultimately gives me an insane economics of 21.79 miles per gallon at just under 200 miles per hour. This here, guys, is exactly the reason why I wanted to get this airplane, because with you, one passenger, maybe two, and a couple bags, you can get unbelievable economics in this airplane. The further east that I got, I expected the clouds to get higher and higher. As I got more towards Kansas, the clouds bases were just at around 25,000 feet, and they were only expected to get higher and become clear skies by the time I got to Leesburg. So it was a welcome sight the further east that I flew. Overall, it was extremely smooth flight today, and I was so impressed. I went about 40 miles out of the way in order to optimize the route of flight with the winds aloft, and I think I averaged about 30 knots the entire flight from Alamogordo, New Mexico, all the way to Northern Virginia. About the time I got to the Shenandoah Valley, the skies became essentially clear. Now the temperature started to drop a lot. I went from an outside air temperature of minus 2 degrees Celsius over Texas to an outside temperature of minus 7 degrees before I started my initial descent into the Northern Virginia area, and it was cold. This is a quick shot of me working my way into Virginia. I was trying to get below the Class Bravo into the Dulles airspace, so I had my hands full. One of my best friends surprised me at the airport and got a video of me landing into Leesburg to complete my trip. The aircraft idled really fast, faster than I expected. I couldn't get the idle below about 1200 RPM, so I really found myself fighting the brakes on the landing. But a quick adjustment once we got the airplane parked and pulled apart, I got the idle issue figured out pretty quickly. We made it. The job is done. We accomplished the mission. Just under 8 hours of flying today. Alamogordo, Springfield, Missouri, and here. Got some pretty cool stuff to debrief from this flight, so thanks for coming along. Well, to wrap things up pretty quickly, this airplane is unbelievably fast, unbelievably efficient. The one thing that caught me off guard was how much of a handful it was to descend this aircraft and plan the descent rates. At one point, I found myself struggling to descend at greater than 600 feet per minute without exceeding 185 indicated knots, and my ground speed with tailwinds was just over 270 miles per hour, which is absolutely unbelievable. That being said, I've got a lot of learning to do in this airplane. I've still got only 15 hours in this type, and I'm really excited to continue improving my skills and practicing learning how to fly and manage this aircraft. A lot of exciting things to come in the future, so be sure to stay tuned. Make sure to like and subscribe for all the future videos I'm going to come out with, documenting the journey of this aircraft and all the other mini aircrafts that I'm going to do some documentations in. My name's Aaron Mathis. Fly fast, fly safe. Thanks for watching VELO TV.